Thanks for listening to Bigfoot Society. I'm Jeremiah Byron. Today, you're going to hear a lot of accounts from all over the U.S., from people from really one side to the other. This is a collection of impromptu call-in encounters from the TikTok live platform. If you've never heard a collection like this, you're in for a treat. Now, these are raw encounters you won't want to miss, so stay with us.
Jay Dizzle, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
Awesome. Hey, thanks for coming up. Do you mind if I potentially use this audio for my Bigfoot podcast I have?
No, you're fine. That's fine.
Awesome. So you've had some things happen out there in Oregon, huh?
Just a couple. I've had one potential encounter, and then I also have in the same area, I have a photograph of a footprint.
Okay, yeah, I'd love to hear about it.
So a friend and I just went out for a casual hike. This was actually probably during COVID because people were on the trail with masks and looking at me like, why don't you have a mask on?
Right.
Anyhow, so the friend and I just all of a sudden stopped and looked at each other because neither one of us said anything to each other, and kind of stopped and said, hey, you notice we're getting pine cones like just chucked at us. So we stopped on the trail and just kind of stood almost face to face so we could look around in a 360, looking for anybody that might, like kids or anybody else that could have stood up and, be zinging these past us. And there is no way that it was human. And so we just kind of went about our day and it's an out and back trail, and came back. And on the way back, we stood above where it happened to us, looking to see again if any human could have, hid from us. And there is just no way. And so I told my husband the story, and he totally was like, not that he's not a believer, he's a total believer, but he's like, no way, it didn't happen. So I took him out to that trail and we stopped, and I showed him where it happened, and he was like, yeah, there's just no way any kids could have hid, any, grown adult could have hid from you. You would have seen, them go up and down. You would have seen their arm action. So I don't know. Yeah, it was pretty cool.
That's pretty wild. Do you mind, or are you able to share what trail or what area of Oak Ridge that was in?
So it's actually below Oak Ridge. It's the Hardesty Trail system.
Okay. Try to Hardesty Trailhead.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's the one you see when you're driving from Eugene on the left side, right?
Well, no, it'll be on your right-hand side. If you're driving from
Okay.
Eugene, it's going to be on your right-hand side, the trailhead. It's got a parking lot there, and it's got bathrooms. And I think it's got like 5 or 6 trails that you can pick from. And so far, I've only been on 2 of the trails. The other, a different trail is where I've got a picture of a footprint.
Oh, wow. Okay, so Hardesty Trails. Okay, got it. And how far away from the trailhead was that approximately?
The pine cones or the footprint?
Well, I guess both, if you don't mind. Yeah.
So the pine cones, we were probably only walking in, we'd probably been walking maybe a half an hour. Still,
Okay.
you get far enough in there, you can't hear the road anymore. So we were far enough in
Gotcha.
that we couldn't hear the road anymore. So I'm going to say probably at least a half an hour in there.
Okay.
Yeah.
That is really cool. Thank you for sharing that. I've almost interviewed about 50 people from that area so far.
Yeah, there's a lot of
especially
stuff that
from
goes
Oak
on up
Ridge.
there.
It's incredible. Do you mind sharing about the? I'd love to hear about the footprint
The
you
footprint,
found as well.
sure.
Yeah.
So this was probably, it was only like last year.
Okay.
I like to go during the week when there's less people. So I took my healers up there with me, and we just it was a different trail, one that takes you farther up to the top, and you hit actually a gravel road. And so I walked up to the top. It's a dead end, and it had looked like people had been camping and stuff a long time ago. Left their trashy mess, which just kind of irritated me. and came back down, and I was just kind of didn't see it on the way up, but on the way back down, it was right in the middle where, you know, the grass grows in between the tire tracks, and I almost stepped on it. And yeah, it's a great print. I showed it to one of the people at the Bigfoot, not this year at Oak Ridge, but last year at Glide. And they were like, oh
Okay.
my gosh, I've got to see that. So I sent it to him and told him where it was too. So
Oh
yeah,
man, you got to come to Sasquatch Summerfest next year. You got to do it. It's so much
yeah.
fun. I've been 2 times from Iowa. It's a great. How big would you say the track was?
It was probably about 16 to 18 inches long
Nice.
and 6 to 8 inches wide.
Okay, that is awesome. I don't know if you know, but in Oak Ridge, there's actually a small Bigfoot museum
No, I don't know that.
over by the DQ, and yeah, they would love to hear about that as well. If you ever get a chance to stop in, it's a great place. Great people running it. So, if possible, I would. I mean, I'd love to take a look at that photo as well, if it's something you would be able
Sure.
to share.
Yeah, I don't mind
Awesome.
sharing.
Okay, cool. Yeah, my
Yeah.
email is bigfootsociety@gmail.com.
Okay. Yeah. It'd probably take me a
Wow.
little bit to get it to you, but I will get it to you.
Oh, no sweat. No
Yeah.
sweat. Have you heard of any other sightings or encounters around that area, or like Dexter or Oak Ridge or Lowell or anything?
I have not personally. I do know that it sounds like my nephew has had some sort of encounter in the Ochiko unit, which is way eastern Oregon, where
Oh, sure.
something
Yep.
was
Yep.
actually saying his name to him, calling his name. It sounded
Oh,
like his dad,
wow.
and he knew it wasn't his dad. And that's been a couple years when they were over there elk hunting. So yeah, but he never
That's intense.
he refuses to talk about it because it's just too eerie to him.
I totally get that.
Yeah.
It can be years until a person is able to talk about stuff like that. If he ever does get to the point where he does need to talk to someone, you know, feel free to pass on my email. I'd love to talk to him. It can be off record. Some people just need to talk to someone and
Yeah.
just let him go. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But
for sure.
wow, Jay Dizzle, this is amazing. Thank you so much for sharing.
Yeah,
I
you're
love hearing
welcome.
about this area.
Yeah. Yeah, my pleasure. I like sharing with someone that would actually believe.
Absolutely.
So yeah, thank you.
All right. Well, we'll see you later. Have a good one.
Yeah, you too. Thank you. And thank you for your great show. We really enjoy it.
Oh, thank you so much. Oh man, my favorite place in the world to hear something from is that area. I love it. Oh, we got someone else. Let's see who we got. Hey Linda, how are you?
I am pretty good. Battling
Awesome. Hey, thanks for
a cold this time of year, but I'm good.
oh, I got you. Hey, thanks for coming up. Do you mind if I potentially use this audio for my podcast I have about Bigfoot?
No, that's fine.
All right. Well, what brings you up today, Linda?
Well, I kind of thought I would let you know. You know, I've been researching in Indiana for about 3 years, and I had an experience last year going to a park, state park in southern Indiana. Pretty popular area. I don't disclose exactly where I go for obvious reasons, but I had taken my daughter and my granddaughter with me, and my daughter is an paleontologist,
Okay.
geologist, and she likes this area. So we went to it where there's a creek and there's caves, you know, and so
Yeah,
forth.
yeah.
And as we were walking up through the trail, I just felt watched, and I almost felt led. I don't know how to explain it. So as I'm walking, I look down and there's a dry creek bed, and I find like, probably a 13, 14-inch footprint. And it looks like it's pretty, it's pretty small for a Bigfoot. I'm thinking it was probably a juvenile from my experience and learning from Montana and Idaho, group with, Ken Metzger, which him.
Oh, yeah. Ken's great. Yep.
Yeah. So as we're walking along, I'm just like, it was just so quiet, so very, very quiet. And so my daughter is filming me panoramically in an area that, I don't know, something just drew me to look in a certain direction. And so she was filming, and as we got to the end of the trail, I said, let's look at that video. And we look at the video, and there is something up in the tree. It looks like a Bigfoot face. Probably, I'm guessing 10 feet up in a tree with its head sideways between a fork of a tree. And it's, I got a photo and I got a video of it. But it was so quiet. It's like I didn't hear any, like anybody paralleling us or anything like that. It's not a whole lot of a story, but the photo is just startled me because it probably wasn't 25 feet away from us.
Oh my goodness. Whoa. So this is an unnamed park in southern Indiana.
Uh-huh. Near where the one you went too far, probably within, you've been to a park farther south, in Indiana before, right? Where the glacier.
In junior high, I've visited Turkey Run.
Yeah. And
so it's not Turkey Run.
That's a very squatchy place, I'm told. So
I've had a lot of encounters told to me from Turkey Run. Some wild stuff. Crazy stuff. Oh yeah. This one individual told me about how her family saw a whole family of them down in the mist. Is a very wild one. That was about a year ago, I think. But so this photo and this video, is this anywhere? I'm guessing this is pretty private to you then?
I don't post it, but I did provide it to Ken for authentication. He's going to be writing a second book. Whether he uses it, I'm not sure. But the fact that you can clearly, you can see it. I was really, really, really surprised. I've had photos, as I've spoken about before, in an area of a relative of mine before, but it wasn't quite as close, and it wasn't, you can see almost the features. So
Ken was a pretty big fan of it.
Yeah. Hey, I sent it to him.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
I think so. Wow. It was pretty cool.
That's awesome. Hey, if you ever need someone else to take a look at it, you can always send it. I'd love to take a look at it, but I'm not going to push. But I love looking at stuff like that. I have the email. It's bigfootsociety@gmail.com.
Yes, I've got your email because I kind of sent you a story prior, but it wasn't really. Wasn't a lot going on with it. But other than I noticed, I found a picture of what appeared to be a juvenile, is what Ken thought of a Bigfoot in that area on the property. So,
that's right. You
remember now?
I do. The funny thing is that was actually on my birthday that you emailed me. It was pretty funny.
Was it?
In November, yeah.
Happy birthday.
That's right. Yeah. Because you talked about, it was interesting. There was a log where there was like stripped pieces of bark,
Yeah,
and
it was.
stuff. It
There
was
was a
kind of weird.
log,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
there was a burl on the log, and there was stripped bark looped around the bottom of the log up towards the tree, and it was like a bouncy bench. You know what I mean? A very primitive, um, you know, some type of kid toy or something. I don't really know, but what was interesting too, I don't know if I ever added this, but in the photos, when I have gone over them, and I just keep going over them, because once you've had this experience, it's like you're obsessed almost, and you can see other ones. And there were several other ones hiding behind like leaves and everything. So,
Oh man, yeah. I would love to see it. And also, I know you've helped support the podcast a lot.
yeah.
Appreciate how you've been helping out that way as well, Linda. Appreciate that. But yeah, I mean, if you get a minute and if you'd like to share, I would love to take a look at it. That sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, I'll ask Ken, because, with it,
Okay.
the possibility of it being in the book,
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I get it. I totally
you know
get
what I
it.
mean?
Yep. Yep. Oh yeah.
I don't want to affect his publisher or anything like that, but I haven't heard back about it yet, so I'll have to Matt, I haven't talked to him in about a week, so I'll message
Okay.
him and see what his thoughts are. But yeah, it's funny how there's just strange things, ever since that happened. Okay, I've been seeing orbs like in my yard, and I'm 50 miles away in Indianapolis, and I don't know. I catch them on my porch camera, my security camera, and you wonder, is it related or what is it? You don't know, but
It's one of those weird things. But I mean, you hear the things, you have the encounter, and then it can really kick weird stuff off. That happens a whole lot.
yeah, and you wonder why me, because my best interest is to protect them, and because I've even heard that they're killing them in Canada. People going through properties.
I hadn't heard that yet. Really? Wow.
Yeah, I listened to a gentleman that was in some kind of high military thing. It was on, I think, on YouTube, and he was speaking about they went in on a top secret area to look for a little boy who had been missing, and apparently they had to shoot him, and I don't want that happening. You know what I mean? I don't even know. You can't.
No, sure. Yeah.
You don't know what's true and what isn't. It's not verified, but it is a concern, obviously.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's a thing where you always have to be, where there's so many different things you can listen to, and which are right, or which are accurate actual accounts. Are they made up by AI? I mean, you never know, right? And
yeah, you don't know.
You have to be really discerning. But
well, I like to follow like Jeff Meldrum and Ken, and a lot of people that are really, I consider experts in the field.
Yeah, both good guys. Yeah, both good guys. Good stuff. Well, yeah.
Yeah, real quickly though, my daughter, she is definitely a skeptic. She's all about science, and actually so am I, except this happened, and since this happened, she's like, "Mom, you are right." I said, "I told you something's out there. Your mother's not entirely crazy." So.
I love it. That's
I
awesome.
know, but I
Good
won't
stuff.
keep you. I'll let other people speak. So,
All right, Linda, thank you so much for coming up. I appreciate that.
you're welcome. I'll let you know if this year it's something else. So,
All right, very good.
all right. Thank you. Bye bye.
Oh, hey, Olin wants to come up again. Cool. We talked to Olin last night. Olin, how are you?
Not too bad. How are you doing tonight?
Hey, doing well. Thanks for coming up again. Do you mind if I potentially use the audio again for the podcast?
Yep, of course.
Awesome. Yeah, what brings you up tonight, man?
Well, I figured just to kind of keep things interesting, I'll share a story that was shared to me that I have
Sure.
permission to share as well.
Okay.
So I talked to a guy one time. He was from Northwest Ontario. And this happened on a remote lake just north of a place called Nestor Falls or Crow Lake, Ontario. So pretty much like straight north of International Falls, Minnesota. But he told me it was 1981, and he was on a boat with his girlfriend at the time on this remote lake. And they had been fishing all morning. He said it was kind of a cool, like in the mid 40s, kind of a drizzly day. And he said that the provincial parks in the area and stuff, what they do on a lot of these lakes is they'll cut out like a little swath, like on the edge of the lakes, and they'll put like a fire pit and a picnic table. It's just kind of like a little rest area for fishermen and sportsmen and stuff. And he said that him and his girlfriend at the time had been fishing all morning. They were kind of a little damp, a little cold, a little wet. So they figured they'd get off the boat for a little bit. They pulled off to one of these little clear-cut areas of the picnic table. They landed their boat, and they went up there with a thermos of coffee and some Rice Krispie treats. And he said that as they were sitting up there, just in the bush, I don't know if people are familiar with what the woods kind of look like up here, but it's a lot of really thick underbrush. That's why people tend to call it the bush, because it's thick. It's thick with mosquitoes. It's not very easy to go through unless there's a trail cut through it. But he said he heard something kind of going back and forth through the thick brush. He couldn't really make out what it was. But after they had their coffee and a Rice Krispie treat, they figured it was probably time to go. Something, smelt their food. And he said what he did was he left a Rice Krispie treat on the picnic table, and then they hopped back in the boat, and they went about 100 feet offshore, dropped the anchor, and he said he sat there because he wanted to show his girlfriend at the time black bear. He figured it was a black bear. And so they dropped the anchor, and they just kind of sat there and hung out. And within 5 minutes, something came out of the brush and walked on 2 feet over to the picnic table. He said it was, when I asked him what kind of details and stuff it looked like, he told me it was just pretty much just a black figure. He said it was jet black, but he said it was big. He said it was really big, really broad. And when it walked up to the picnic table, its knee was level with the tabletop of the picnic table, which is pretty dang tall. Most people, it comes up to their waist, And he said it almost like leaned over the picnic table and kind of looked left and right, kind of looked around, and then it picked it up, and then it walked straight into the brush. He said they were just sitting there with their jaws dropped, and he didn't know what he was looking at the time. And so he drove the boat back to shore because he thought he was like we got to be imagining this or something. So he wanted to go see if that Rice Krispie treat was actually gone off the table. And he said he pulled up to the shore. He told his girlfriend to stay in the boat. He ran over to the picnic table, saw the Rice Krispie treat was gone, and then sprinted back to the boat and left. And he told me that when he had got home, he called his brother and he told his brother about it. And his brother actually laughed at him and made fun of him. And he said he didn't tell anyone else that story for about 40 years until he got a hold of me, and he actually talked to me in it was like 2021 and told me that story. And
Oh
yeah,
my
that's
goodness.
pretty much it.
What an incredible account that, you know, he waited 40 years before sharing with someone again, and you were able to he was able to trust you enough to share it again. My goodness, thank you for sharing that. That's incredible. Wow.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite stories I've gotten out of the region. It's not a like super crazy exciting one, but it's the details of it are kind of fun.
It's a good one, and it's good to talk to you again as well. Thank you for coming back up, Olin. I appreciate it.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
Good stuff. Good stuff. We got Mr. Bigfoot here. How's it going, man?
We
Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
How's it going?
Good. How are you? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, it's very good. Yeah, thanks for coming up. Do you mind if I potentially use this audio for the Bigfoot podcast I have?
Yeah, sure. The only thing is, I don't have a Bigfoot story of my own per se, but
Oh, sure.
I do have a dog man. I don't know if you wanted to go. We can maybe talk outside of here since this is Bigfoot related, but
Yeah, I mean, why not? Yeah, we'll try to stick to Bigfoot. But yeah, if feel free to do so. Yeah, go right ahead, man.
oh no, I was gonna say it's not like I don't have like a long, story, about it at all. It was kind of like he was there and then he was gone kind of thing for me.
Oh, okay.
So,
Yeah, go ahead.
So I live in, Kentucky, and I'm not sure if familiar with Kentucky or towns or whatnot, Kentucky area, like Bardstown, Kentucky, Springfield, Kentucky.
Okay.
Going at, I know I was traveling from Bardstown to Springfield, and somewhere on the meantime in between the two, it says around 5:30 a.m. And so it was before sunup, and I was coming around a curve of a back road to take towards Springfield, and something crossed the road from my, right hand side, to come across from right to left. And as it came across, I looked and noticed, I said, was that, on its hind legs, like moving across in front of me as I was driving by? And I was really puzzled by that. And I don't know, it's something that I've seen. I still see it in my head all the time. What I saw, I stopped even. I kind of slowed down and pulled over like, what in the heck just happened? You know what I'm saying? When I saw what I saw. But it was most definitely, it had to be at least 6'7", maybe between 6 and 7 foot tall, because I was driving a pickup truck up off the ground a good bit. And it, its head was up above the hood of my car as it was going across. And, it was just a split second thing. I seen him and then he was gone. So it's like I don't have a whole lot of description other than I know it looked like it had, its hands kind of in front of it a little bit, like its upper arms, I guess you could say, or legs, whatever you want to say. And its hind legs on the ground. I didn't really get to see much of that. It was just like the upper half of him. And then it moving in a blur across from right to left on me like that.
So it sounds like it moved pretty quick. Were you able to see any any details in its face at all?
Yeah, not really so much as I want to say he was gray and not black in color. So I almost like I was thinking maybe a coyote. I was thinking maybe possibly that I spooked one maybe, and he just kind of like leapt up and skedaddled across the road. You know what I mean? I don't know. But when I looked back and thought about it, I was like, it would be way too tall, even for a coyote to be up on its hind legs, to be able to see him like I did go move across the front of my car or my truck like that.
That's wild stuff. I don't know a lot about Dogman. I do know that they can be really, really traumatic sightings, though.
Yeah, like I said, I don't have any, like it did. I don't have nothing like it stalked me. I know I've heard Dogman stories as well, where like I said, they've been, followed or they pop up on them but yeah, mine was just more of and I even tried to go back to that location during the daytime, a few days later, looking for maybe tracks or prints or anything, you know what I'm saying? But I wasn't able to come up with anything. So kind of wish I could have, but this happened in 2019, by the way. That's when it happened.
Okay. Gotcha. Well, I mean, I appreciate you sharing what you experienced. At the end of the day, it is something that happened to you. And I'm glad that you were able to share about it. Have you ever reached out to like the North American Dogman Project or anything like that?
No, I have not. I don't even know who that group is.
It's a group where they're kind of documenting and categorizing sightings across the U.S. If you Google it, you'll be able to find their website. And I appreciate you coming up and for sharing what you experienced that day.
Appreciate you for having me. Like I said, I know others who have. I wish they could get on this show for you and share their experiences, because I know a few that have some really good ones.
Yes, sir. Well, maybe I'll talk to them someday. Hopefully, we'll see. But yeah, thank you for coming up, man.
No, thank you for having me, man.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Sometimes we have a little Dogman story slip in. That's all right. We try to focus on the Bigfoot stuff, but hey, there's always a little room for Dogman. Hey, Sansa, how are you?
Hey, what's up, buddy? How you doing, man?
Hey, doing good. I saw what you were saying down in the comments. It looked interesting, so I figured I'd invite you up. Do you mind if I use this audio potentially for my Bigfoot podcast?
Yeah, you good. You can.
All right. Do you mind sharing what you've been experiencing down there?
Oh, well, yeah, I grew up on the Navajo reservation, right along the Arizona New Mexico border, along it's called Manlito, I mean, there's we grew up off grid, I mean, no electricity, no water and all, so there's times at night that, well, back then, I mean, the elders, they tell us is like skinwalker, but we seen it ourselves, but it was Bigfoot. It would go around our house where we stayed at my grandma's. It would go around knocking on the outer walls, the exterior walls. I'd go around all the way around the house knocking on it. I mean, you can hear the dogs on the outside, fighting with it. I mean, throwing it around. You know what I mean? So one night it peeked in on us. We had like a little window where we were all stayed in one room, and it peeked in on us. We saw the eyes, the glowing eyes, just the breathing part, man. That's so, what I mean? I cannot wear a mask to this day because of that breathing. How the deep breathing and stuff. What I mean? It's like breathing through a mask. What I mean? It's just heavy breathing, bro. What I mean? So that, and then also we used to get in trouble for missing sheep, missing goats. What we figured is they'd be taking it, because we heard sheep, we count sheep as we let them out, we count them as we bring them back in, and somehow through the night, a couple will come up missing, as we doing our count in the morning, so somehow mysteriously they disappear, and then as well as at night when we go check, because the sheep corral was next to a mountain, so the sheep corral maybe about at least 50 yards away from the house, maybe 50, 70 yards away from the house. As we go, it's pitch dark, so we go out there and check, with flashlights and all, and then we get like rocks, little rocks, branches and stuff thrown at us as we're walking towards the corral. You know, even out to the outhouse too. You know what I mean? We get stuff thrown at us. You know what I mean? So that is my experiences growing up. I remember we didn't have no wildlife around too, like deers and you know what I mean? Just everything seems to be gone, man. But now that I visit, you know, the deers are back. You can see them driving through Malito Canyon. You know, you can see them on the side of the road and all. You know what I mean? So that is my experience growing up, man. You know what I mean? It's yeah, that's all I got, bro. You know what I mean? It used to scare us a lot. You know what I mean? As it would knock on the walls on the outside.
Oh,
It's like,
absolutely.
you know what I mean? And then also the dogs too. You know what I mean? The dogs would attack. You know what I mean? You can hear the dogs just getting thrown around, barking in pain. You know, and then they go all the way down the ditch. The ditch is probably about at least half a mile away. There's another creek that's a half a mile away, and you just hear the dogs just fighting it all the way down. You know what I mean? So, yeah, that's my little experience of growing up, man. I go back and visit, but it's just a lot more quieter, man. There's a lot more wildlife back. You know what I mean? So I'm not sure whatever it was moved on. You know?
I was just going to ask, I mean, you saying that, I wonder if it has indeed moved on. I mean, just
Yeah.
the fact that the wildlife's back is a huge sign. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Wow.
'Cause back then there's no wildlife. You know what I mean? There's the deer. You know, my uncle used to hunt deer, but he had to go out to the Chiska Mountains to hunt the deers. You know what I mean? But where we were at, there's no more deers and stuff. You know what I mean? So, but now that we go back, I usually drive in maybe about 3 or 4 in the morning, and you can see them on the side of the road. You know what I mean? So they're definitely back, man. You can see the trails as well too.
Wow. Oh man, I've been able to talk to a few individuals down from your area, and just the accounts down there, they can get very, very intense. I'm just glad you're able to get through it, and you know, not be hurt. You know.
Yeah, it's pretty intense at some nights, man. You know what I mean? We all huddle together, scream and shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It'd be knocking on the doors. You know what I mean? The walls. You know, it's just and then just the face of it too. You know what I mean? When that night was peeking in at us, you cannot get that face. You know what I mean? You cannot forget that face, man, or the breathing. You know what I mean? So like to this day, I cannot even wear a Halloween mask, man, because I can just hear that breathing. You know.
Is there anything that you've seen that comes close to what you saw that night?
Just shadow wise, just huge shadow. You know what I mean? When it comes around, it's dark, and as we're kids, you know what I mean. We're scared to look out. You know what I mean? But we seen big shadow figures. You know what I mean? Yeah, just big heavy shadow figures. You know what I mean? But it is like a rocky area too. So you know what I mean. We really didn't look for Bigfoot back then because most of the elders thought it was skinwalker. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah.
There was a couple of them that were, you know what I mean, but you can tell a difference. You know what I mean? The difference between the Bigfoot, you know what I mean, and the skinwalker. You know what I mean? The Bigfoot, it throws the dogs and stuff around. You know, the skinwalkers when they come in chanting and you know what I mean. You hear all weird shit.
Right.
It's totally different than that. You know what I mean? So. I believe it was Bigfoot, man.
Wow. Sansa, I appreciate you coming up. It's a very rare occurrence that, you know, someone with your background is able to share what they've experienced, and I appreciate you being willing to come forward with that today.
Ah, man, you're welcome, man. Yeah.
Willing to come forward with that today.
Ah, man, you're welcome, man. Yeah, you have a good night, bud.
You too. Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff tonight, guys. Thank you all for being here. Let's see, we got Sue wanting to come up. Hey Sue, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Awesome. Thanks for good. Thanks for coming up. Do you mind if I potentially use this audio for my Bigfoot podcast I have?
Sure.
Cool. Well, what would you like to chat about tonight?
All right. Well, I'm 67 years old, okay? And I was like 6 years old or whatever. and me and a bunch of kids, we lived in a place called Quantico, which I have no idea where it's at. I don't remember where Quantico's at, but anyway,
Virginia.
I was on a military base.
It's Virginia.
And-
Yeah.
Yeah, and behind the apartments or whatever was like you know, wooded area or whatever. And me and a bunch of kids were playing and stuff, and we saw, I would say straight up, we saw this big giant monster, you know, and I was literally afraid of it and stuff, so I ran back to the house and everything. And, you know, when you're a kid, it looked like a big old bear, but it wasn't a bear. Believe me, it was not a bear. And I was so afraid to go to bed that night because we lived in an upstairs, downstairs, you know, apartment. And I actually got my butt whooped from my dad because I wouldn't go to bed. But yeah, I've seen Bigfoot, literally seen Bigfoot. And like I said, you know, I'm 67 and I will never forget that, period. And then, you know, my dad wouldn't believe me. You know, he just thought it was just, you know, one of these kids thing and stuff. So my dad passed away. And I said, well, Dad, what do you think? There is Bigfoot, you know, kind of weird. But anyways, I just wanted to share that.
Wow. So, I mean, and it's still sticking with you even after 60 years. That's incredible.
Yeah, it does. It's still with me. And, you know, I mean, they're not harmful or nothing. You know, they're just more interested in us than we are with them. But as a child, you know, it was just fearful. But now when I look back at it, it's like I wished I could see another one, you know.
Absolutely.
I lived in Ruidoso, New Mexico. I'm in Alabama now, but I lived in Ruidoso, New Mexico. And I got the chance and the opportunity to work with the native people. I was in a native school and worked with them and stuff. And they would tell these crazy, wild stories about Bigfoot, you know, and I believed them, you know. I never did tell them that I'd seen one when I was little, but I believed everything they said. And the guy that was talking earlier, yeah, he knows what he's talking about because I see it. There's no denying. But anyways, that's all I got to say.
And real quick before I let you go, you know, it was 60 years ago, but do you remember anything about, you know, what the details of what you saw? Does anything stick out in your mind or?
Well, it's the wooded area. You know, it was like they have their own, well, I guess their way of living or whatever, but there's like this really bad stench that I will not forget. I mean, bad smell, you know, and just the way they had their caves made and stuff, or their huts, or whatever the heck they lived in, you know. But the trees, you could tell where they walked because of the footprints. That's another thing too. They were laying concrete down behind the, you know, apartments, the naval base or whatever you want to call it, where I was at. And it just so happened that one of their footprint got stuck in the cement.
No way.
Yeah. 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 I won't
Wow.
forget it.
I wonder if it's still there.
I don't know, but I will not forget it, you know. I will not forget it.
That's incredible. That is incredible. Sue, thank you for sharing your experiences tonight. I really appreciate you coming up.
Yeah, and thank you for this site because, you know, it even makes me want to talk to my dad more. Say, look, you know, but the dad's the dead, so.
Right. But I mean, just the fact that you can come up, I really appreciate you. And thank you for coming up tonight.
All right.
Had an individual that I talked to at the booth in Oak Ridge.
Here we go. Oh yeah, dude. Backwoods Bigfoot.
What's up,
Brother,
buddy?
what's up? Backwoods Bigfoot. You're cool with me using audio for the podcast, right?
Of course. Okay.
So what's up, man, out there and where you're at?
Well, you remember when we were at the conference and we were talking about I think his name was Jeff, who had all those he was on your show before. He had all those wild stories, and I think he was on the I think his name is Jeff. But anyway, he was telling me about Drift Creek and that.
Oh yeah.
And that mothership UFO with the weird like aliens
Yep.
on boards or whatever, you know.
I'm tracking with you now. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So I went out there on I think Tuesday or Wednesday last week.
Wow.
And well, I went there the week before and I went last week because it's a huge area. It's like the Silesia National Forest, and it basically goes from the coast here where I'm at, and you could literally go all the way to like I-5 in the valley, like in the forest. So it's humongous, you know. It's the coastal mountains basically.
Right.
And I don't know if you saw my video. I don't remember which video it was, but it was recently where I found like a bunch of like a trackway, probably like 4 or 5 tracks, like big tracks. All
I gotta check that out.
yeah, I think there's pictures on my Instagram. Anyway,
Okay.
that's in that area, but the area is so vast, and I don't know specifics where the mothership was, but I went there Tuesday and to a spot I've never been before, and I'm hiking up this old logging trail that hasn't been driven on probably in 10 years or something. And then you start getting that weird feeling of I'm not alone.
Mm-hmm.
And then I start hearing weird noises to my left and right. Keeps getting weirder and weirder. And then I heard some whoops, and then I got to like probably a mile up, and it kind of flattened out up there, and something threw like 3 rocks in my direction, not at me, not like viciously, but enough to get my attention. So
Oh my goodness, dude. Whoa.
it was crazy, but it wasn't like a bad vibe. It was kind of a like playful feeling, I wasn't freaked out, but maybe I should have been, I don't know. But yeah, I just wanted to hop on here and tell you because I saw your
That is
live.
awesome. Were you so were you driving or walking up there?
Walking, you can't. There was a gate. It's one of those where it's gated, and it says, you can no motor vehicles pass this gate type thing.
Dude, you were walking right into it, man. That's so
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
So was it the whoops, were they similar to like gibbon whoops, or have you heard anything else like it before?
Yeah, it was. I would say like given, or like kind of like not as loud and pronounced, but like the Sierra Sounds when they whoop on that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
Kind of like that, but it was closer and quieter. And then it was weird. There was like almost every Bigfoot sound associated with Bigfoot sound, that besides like a roar or anything, because there was like weird whistling on one side, and then
Oh my
almost like
goodness, dude.
some like bird mimicking sounds and stuff. Like I started laughing because I was like, "Are you guys like putting on a opera show or something, like a rock concert?" Yeah.
That's hilarious. Were you, so when you're walking up there, are you filming stuff or you're just in the moment?
No, I was filming, and then like I film, and then I like pictures too, so I'll stop filming and take pictures. I think I got some sounds maybe on camera. I haven't even actually uploaded it because it's just on. I use my phone, so I haven't even transferred it to my computer yet and looked at it.
Dude.
But hopefully I got some. I might have got one of the rocks bouncing because it literally. I just stopped the top and kind of just sat there because it was like the only sunny spot. Everything else was, covered by the trees and
Right.
So I just stopped up there and kind of sat and just hung out, and then a rock goes, whoom, like probably 3 feet from where I'm sitting. It was pretty big. I tried to reenact it with a different rock to see how heavy that rock might have been, and it had to be, good size, like golf ball size, not like a pebble,
Dude, were you loving it or were you freaked out, man?
No, I was loving it.
Oh yeah, dude. I knew you were.
I wanted to keep going. And there was this one path, like in the woods. It looked like it, like literally was like a highway for some weird enchanted movie where all the trees were kind of opened up. I was like, this looks like literally like a hallway to Bigfoot's castle. So I'm going to go back and follow that until it leads to somewhere or nowhere. But
dude, well, I mean, without a shadow of a doubt that there is something out there, and there's more than one thing out there. Probably had things on either side, and I mean, yeah, be careful out there, dude. But I mean, I can't imagine the stuff you might have on that video. I mean, you could have some wild stuff. Guys, make sure that you follow the Backwoods Bigfoot channel on YouTube for some killer video docs on that channel. Some really, really cool stuff. If you like Oregon nature plus Bigfoot stuff, you're gonna love it. And he's gonna have some cool stuff. It's already great stuff on the channel, but if you've got stuff from that, dude, it's gonna be nuts.
Yeah. And I was gonna ask you when I saw you at the conference.
Okay.
You know how people will look at your videos or look at your pictures and find all those little faces in there? You know what I'm talking about? What do you think about that?
So I do know that there's part of what humans do is we try to find patterns, right?
Yeah.
So it's tricky because you can have things that, you can find faces in the cloud.
Yeah.
But the interesting thing is when you have a photo and you show it to multiple people and they all pick out the same thing, right?
Yeah.
So I would have to say, I get a lot of things sent to me in my email.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm like, yeah, there's something there. Sometimes you might be reaching a little bit. It's a possibility, but I think you go either way with that stuff,
Yeah. That's what I was thinking. I mean, sometimes it's like, oh, I see a face, but it's weird. But yeah, because that area, a couple guys always send me like stuff from my channel or my pictures on Instagram and be like, look at these. And sometimes you're just like, holy crap, that was right next to me, like what?
Oh, like from your own stuff. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. A lot of people do that. I don't know. I think some people are just better at it, but I think some people are also reaching, like seeing what they want to see, like pareidolia or whatever it's called,
Yeah, right. People do that with Scott Carpenter's stuff too from Tennessee. But dude, man, it was fun hanging out with you at the booth, and like you were getting all sorts of connections. And oh, dude, I know what I was going to tell you. Remember how you were talking about Mr. Bigfoot?
Oh yeah.
So I like drove up through those towns, and I stopped and I was asking around to try to find this Mr. Bigfoot guy.
Yeah.
I almost got it was a little sketchy.
Was
I
it?
was like, oh, I probably should just shut up and get in my car because people here do not want to talk. And
No way.
I'm an outsider. And the rental company gave me California plates. Oh my goodness.
Oh, so yeah, they didn't like you.
Terrible. Everyone hated me when I went up in the Cascades, dude.
Yeah. So you
But
you
it
went.
was still fun.
Yeah.
It was cool to see all the areas that I have talked to people from, right?
Yeah.
That was pretty cool. And to see the Bigfoot Museum and all that. Dude, yeah, it was a wild time. But man, I can't wait until you get that video up, until you can see what you captured. That could potentially be pretty wild stuff, man.
Yeah, I'll definitely hit you up when it's up there.
Absolutely.
Did you? One more question. Did you go to the giant door when you were in town?
I didn't even get to Sweet Home, dude.
No.
Nope. No, I
Next
did not.
year.
Right, yeah. It's yeah, I underestimated how hard it is to drive around that area once you get up into the Cascade Mountains. I'm like,
Yeah,
wow, this is
crazy.
really intense. It's really, really intense. I was out of my league for sure. It was fun, but I was like, holy mackerel, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, you need like a whole month for that.
Yeah, once you get out of Oak Ridge, you're like, oh, I'm in a whole different world now.
Yep. It's
Yeah.
beautifully rugged.
Yeah, beautifully rugged, and you're the only one that's going to save yourself, pretty much. It was good talking to you, dude.
You too, brother. I'll let you know if
All
I
right.
find anything.
All right, dude. Peace,
All right.
peace.
Later.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Bigfoot Society podcast. If you'd like to take part in these lives, you can follow the Bigfoot Society podcast on TikTok under bigfoot.society. And we usually go live, if we're going to go live, about 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time at night. So hope to see you there. It's a good time. There's a lot of crazy stuff that happens. Some of the accounts cannot be put on here. So you might even hear stuff that you won't hear anywhere else. Make sure you're following the podcast so you don't miss out on any future episodes. And please take a minute to share this episode or an episode that's your favorite with a friend, and give us a 5-star positive review and rating, as it really helps the show grow. If you haven't taken a look yet, head over to www.bigfootsocietypodcast.com. We have a brand new membership community that would love to have you be a part of. It's where you can get benefits such as a exclusive episode just for members every week, ad-free and early release episodes, ways for the community to hang out. We watch a movie together every month. We hang out in a Zoom call and talk about. So there's a lot of stuff I talk about that I don't put out on the show. It's kind of like a inner circle type thing. So if that's something you're interested in, check it out. Again, it's bigfootsocietypodcast.com, and click on the members login. We'll see you there. Thanks for listening, and see you in the woods.